questions?
Yes, what's the lower tax, what the proposed lower sales tax rate would be what exactly again?
So 3 point,
Four.
sorry, 4 point,
Yeah, because you're saving.
yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
hold on. Yeah, 4.3125.
That
So-
rolls right off your tongue, 4.3125.
Exactly, just rolls off.
In the
So it's about a
urban
two,
en-
2 cents, a little more than
2%.
2-cent drop, right?
Yeah.
2%.
Now the urban enterprise zones. Yeah. The urban enterprise zones, they have the half of the tax. We have the 1% that we would then use for countywide property tax relief.
So that money would go to the
Correct,
freeholders
right.
in this case.
Correct,
And they'd
correct.
use it to reduce county tax.
Correct.
Have you guys calculated what the tax loss to the state will be? I mean, the state's not in great fiscal
Well,
shape,
Tom, you're actually wrong.
okay?
I mean, as far as revenue,
Okay.
our revenues are up 6%. We've actually done pretty well since we implemented the corporate business tax, the CBT, the higher CBT. It's actually come in higher than any of the income taxes that the governor talked about. And we focused on the C corporations who were the windfalls from the Trump tax cut. So someone that was paying 35%, instead of paying 21, was paying 23 and a half. So our revenues are ahead of projections. In fact, for the first time since I've been in the legislature, we finally are in a position where I'm sure there's going to be a call for a bunch of taxes again, but I just don't see the need for all of them.
There's
Would you consider any tax increase in exchange for this cut?
For what?
Would you consider any tax increase, let's say a millionaire's tax, or something like it, in exchange for this kind of sales tax cut?
This is a small piece for a large piece. Come on, I negotiate for a living, and I'm not going to take 2 cents and give away $1. Listen, I'm more than willing to negotiate on things, and I've said that before. There's a lot of reforms that need to happen in this state to make New Jersey affordable. Anyone that thinks New Jersey's not unaffordable, and the number one state to outmigration in New Jersey is Pennsylvania now. And then New York is right behind it. And these guys, and everyone up here is right in the corner. And that's why you're seeing population decline. It's affordability.
We have to do more, but if you think about the income tax revenues that are up, and they're up pretty good versus the governor's original estimate. Tax withholdings are up, as well as final estimated payments. And I think a major reason for that, now we don't have the data on it just yet, is the elimination of the estate tax. And quite frankly, Tom, right to your question of, we have a tendency to look at, okay, this is what we're going to lose. But we never look at the dynamic impact of economics, that here's the stream of income that we're getting because we took those actions. I do financial planning for a living. I think there's absolutely a direct impact as to why our income tax receipts are higher, particularly on estimated payments and final payments. So I know it's a little bit of a in the weeds there, but I think that's one of the reasons why our income tax revenue is higher, because we eliminated the estate tax and we're keeping capital here. We have a lot more to do, but the idea of keeping net worth and capital here is extremely important.
And I want to add I just want to add one thing to what Steve said. New Jersey's got the top sports betting market in the country now, because we have the lowest tax rate. All the other states around
Great
us
point.
were looking to do high tax rates, and we insisted on 8.5% if you went into a bricks and mortar casino and 13% online. That wasn't by accident. Bettors are smart enough to understand you're going to charge me a 50% tax, a 35% tax. Where's my best odds? Best odds were here. On marijuana, on the public question on marijuana, we will have the lowest tax rate on marijuana in the country. That's not a bad thing. We'll make up the difference in volume. That's what you want, a robust, healthy business. You want more in rather than have less and higher taxes.
Could you just clarify the Greater Highlands area that will be affected by this legislation if it passes?
So it's the current Highlands, including parts of Passaic, Sussex, Warren, and then Greater covering all of Sussex and Warren. So we believe, and we talked a lot about this, you've got to, and by the way, and the Pinelands, of course. Well, what we talked about from the beginning is you've got a lot of towns that are adjacent, of course, that are not technically in, but are affected by being in the same exact regional area as the Highlands. So it really should be the Greater Highlands, and that's where the new designation is.
And in Passaic County, what
The current towns that are in, that are currently in the
West
Highlands.
Milford and
Right,
Ringo,
exactly.
Will the rural enterprise zones be confined to the planning areas of the Highlands, or will they be allowed to be
It's
put in
entire-
the preservation?
No, it's the entire area. It's the Greater Highlands area, which would include all of Sussex and all of Warren County.
And how about Morris County too, the parts of Morris County?
As we develop this and to get them passed, obviously there's always got to be some negotiation and compromise, and whatever we can do to help get this passed for our greater area, we certainly would be more than welcome to.
So
look
anyone,
at.
doesn't seem to be anyone from the Highlands Council here though, is that a reason for that? or-
Well, we're not really affecting the Highlands Council itself. Now,
Okay.
the
Just curious, okay.
No, so this is more about economic development.
Okay.
That was part of the original Highlands Act itself. If you read the Highlands Act, it says in there right away that the economic viability, and as Senator Sweeney talked about, compensation, which things have never occurred.
Right, there are two halves to this, right?
I understand, yeah.
And I think it's really important that the half that we all believe in and love, being here is making sure that we preserve the beauty. But also the other half that wasn't focused on enough, I think all along, and it's what we're all about here today, is how do we make sure the economic side of it's okay? And this is dealing, it has a huge impact on businesses and of course on property values. It's affected the foreclosure rates, and we believe you can do both, right? You can, right, and that's what really this is all about.
But I think it's what the Senate President said, not to oversimplify it, it's a promise kept. This was a promise that was made, and government has to be held to keeping its promises. And it's really about a fairness issue, and it's doing something that should have been done a long time ago.
That's why the way Josh phrased this is correct. We did the first part. We just never did the hard part. We did the easy part.